With Week 1 of the 2025 NFL season now in the books, feels like a good time to reflect on the good, the bad, and the ugly of quarterbacks and see how they all stack up against one another.
Tagovailoa with time. Now fires over the middle, picked off!
So with that, let's dive into the rankings of all 32 NFL starting quarterbacks heading into Week 2. Number 32, Bryce Young, Carolina Panthers. Well, that sure was a letdown. 18 of 35 for 154 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Ugh, come on. If he's going to put up that kind of performance against a terrible defensive group in Jacksonville, how's he supposed to get any better when the quality of opponents only increases? Number 31, Cam Ward, Tennessee Titans. Ward was let down by costly drops from Calvin Ridley, Brian Callahan's horrific in-game management, and an O-line that surrendered 6 sacks. Still, going 12 for 28 with only 112 yards and no touchdowns is less than ideal. Number 30, Russell Wilson, New York Giants. Wilson looked like anything but a seasoned vet in the Giants' Week 1 loss to Washington, completing just 17 of 37 pass attempts for 168 yards and 0 touchdowns. If not for his 44 rushing yards on 8 carries, the 21-6 loss would have been even more lopsided. Number 29, Spencer Rattler, New Orleans Saints. Rattler had a surprisingly strong performance in a game the Saints had absolutely no business staying in, playing ball control, football offense, and putting a scare into the Cardinals' D. It took a last-second red zone stand for Arizona to avoid overtime and escape with a 20-13 road win. Number 28, Joe Flacco, Cleveland Browns. The experienced vet who can still sling those dime-deep balls, and the guy whose ill-timed turnovers, remind us exactly why he hasn't been a full-time starter in almost a full decade. Number 27, Drake May, New England Patriots. It was pretty encouraging to see him form chemistry with Kayshon Boutte and newcomer Stephon Diggs, but May is going to have to connect on those deep balls and learn to get rid of the ball quicker if he's to take the monster leap that many expect this year. Number 26, Sam Darnold, Seattle Seahawks. Darnold's first game with the Seahawks left a lot to be desired, to say the very least. Other than a couple of nice hookups with Jackson Smith and Jigba, Darnold didn't at all resemble the 2024 Pro Bowler that we saw with the Vikings. Number 25, Tua Tagovailoa, Miami Dolphins. Playing against a Colts defense that allowed 25.1 points per game a year ago, Tagovailoa coughed up the ball 3 times and mustered just 8 points in a humiliating 33-8 loss. Number 24, Trevor Lawrence, Jacksonville Jaguars. Perhaps he just needs more time to get used to Liam Cohen's offense, because 178 yards, a touchdown, and 1 interception is not the best stat line against a weaker opponent. Number 23, Justin Fields, New York Jets. Fields sure looked at home in his Jets debut, going toe-to-toe with Aaron Rodgers and a formidable Steelers defense in Week 1. If Fields sustains that type of production, then the Jets will be a sleeper playoff contender. Number 22, Caleb Williams, Chicago Bears. The box score says Williams had 0 turnovers, but if you watch the game film, woof. He missed way too many open receivers on deep balls and refused to take the easy stuff underneath. Number 21, J.J. McCarthy, Minnesota Vikings. McCarthy's first half was completely unwatchable and led to way too early takes that he was not suited for the starting QB job. But then, he settled down in the second half and orchestrated 3 surgical touchdown drives to help Minnie escape with a 27-24 win. Number 20, Bo Nix, Denver Broncos. Can't help but wonder if Sunday was the least satisfying win of Nix's career. He threw 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions against a lousy Titans team and kept them in a game that Denver should have won by double-digit points. Number 19, Daniel Jones, Indianapolis Colts. A flash in the pan or a sign of things to come? It's actually one of the more intriguing questions entering Week 2. Danny Dimes' Colts debut couldn't have gone any better. 272 passing yards and 3 total touchdowns in an utter destruction of Miami. Number 18, Michael Penix Jr., Atlanta Falcons. Penix threw for 298 yards and had 2 total touchdowns against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but the defense disappeared on the Bucs' game-winning drive, and reliable kicker Younghoe Koo missed a game-tying field goal to force overtime. Number 17, Kyler Murray, Arizona Cardinals. It was nothing flashy in New Orleans, but Murray made more than enough plays to help the Cardinals escape the Big Easy with a 7-point victory. Murray's 2 touchdowns, combined with Arizona's 146 rushing yards, were more than enough to seal the deal. Number 16, CJ Stroud, Houston Texans. Stroud finished with only 188 yards, no touchdowns, and a pick. Of course, it's not his fault that Dare Ogunbowale blew the game with a costly red zone fumble after the 2-minute warning. Number 15, Geno Smith, Las Vegas Raiders. Smith had an all-around solid debut with the Raiders, going 24-34 for 362 yards, a touchdown, and 1 interception in the Raiders' 20-13 victory over New England. If Brock Bowers didn't leave the game with a knee injury, Smith might have pushed for 400 yards. Number 14, Brock Purdy, San Francisco 49ers. Even without Brandon Ayuk, and even with George Kittle and Juwan Jennings having to exit in Week 1 with injuries, Purdy found a way to get the job done. Purdy's epic game-winning touchdown throw to Jake Tonjes drew comparisons to the catch between Joe Montana and Dwight Clark. Number 13, Jared Goff, Detroit Lions. We're not knocking Goff down too far on these rankings. I mean, there's no shame in losing on the road to a dangerous Packers team to kick off the season. And if you actually watched, well, you'll notice that the leaky offensive line and Swiss cheese defense were bigger problems than Goff. Factor this under a not too worried about a loss. Number 12, Aaron Rodgers, Pittsburgh Steelers. All Rodgers did in his Steelers debut was throw for 244 yards and 4 touchdowns before setting up Chris Boswell's ice-cold game-winning 60-yard field goal to stun the Jets. Oh yeah, something tells us that Rodgers was pretty dang happy to beat his old team in such a dramatic fashion. Number 11, Dak Prescott, Dallas Cowboys. If not for so many mind-numbing and uncharacteristic drops by CeeDee Lamb, the Cowboys would have likely stunned the Eagles on banner night. Still, Prescott had a tremendous outing against a stingy Philly defense. Number 10, Jordan Love, Green Bay Packers. The Packers did everything right in their 27-13 win over the Lions, and it started with their quarterback who diced up the defense for 188 yards and 2 touchdowns without a single turnover. Number 9, Baker Mayfield, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mayfield's 3 touchdown passes and surgical game-winning drive stood out as one of the better performances of his Buccaneers tenure. And some of y'all thought that he'd really miss Liam Cohen, Chris Godwin, and Tristan Wirfs? But hey, greater tests now await Mayfield with the Texans, Jets, Eagles, Seahawks, and 49ers stingy defenses all next up on Tampa's schedule. Number 8, Justin Herbert, Los Angeles Chargers. Herbert was practically perfect against his longtime kryptonite, leading the Bolts to a dramatic 27-21 win over the Chiefs. Herbert completed 24 passes for 318 yards and 3 touchdowns, while picking up 32 yards with his legs. Equally encouraging for Bolts fans, that might be Herbert's toughest opponent all year long. Number 7, Matthew Stafford, Los Angeles Rams. Stafford made big-time throw after big-time throw against a dangerous Houston defense, finishing with 245 yards and 1 touchdown in a 14-9 victory. The back is clearly fine. The Stafford-Puka Nacua connection is as good as ever. And I think he'll only improve that chemistry with Devontae Adams. Number 6, Jalen Hurts, Philadelphia Eagles. On a day when the Eagles' run defense struggled and both A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith had quiet days, Hurts rose to the occasion and showed that he is, in fact, not a system quarterback. Hurts had just 4 incompletions on 23 pass attempts in the rainy conditions and picked up 62 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns in a 24-20 victory over the Cowboys. Number 5, Jaden Daniels, Washington Commanders. Daniels picked up where he left off a year ago, accounting for 301 total yards and 1 passing touchdown in a 21-6 win over the Giants. Number 4, Joe Burrow, Cincinnati Bengals. Burrow didn't have his best outing against the Browns, but Joe Cool completed just 14 passes for 113 yards and a touchdown, so Cincy was fortunate to win their first Week 1 contest since 2021. Number 3, Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs. Mahomes had 258 passing yards, 57 rushing yards, and 2 total touchdowns in a 27-21 loss to the Chargers. Fortunately, Worthy is day-to-day and should return soon. Number 2, Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens. That was an inexcusable loss by the Ravens on Sunday night. But we'll attach the blame to the defense, head coach John Harbaugh, and Derrick Henry's costly fumble. As for the MVP himself, yeah, the Ravens don't really have to worry about him. Jackson put on a masterclass against Buffalo with a 73.7 completion percentage for 209 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 70 rushing yards, and 1 rushing TD. Number 1, Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills. I mean, What more can be said? The league's reigning MVP just cemented himself as the league's best quarterback with perhaps the finest individual performance of his entire career. Allen completed 71.7% of pass attempts for 394 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and 2 more rushing scores. Not bad playing against one of the league's best secondaries. But what changes would you make to our Week 2 NFL quarterback power rankings? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, then clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.